as more and more time kind of goes on, I start to realize more like how much more aggressive I have to be when it comes to achieving a certain life I want to live. In a sense of the case, like when it comes to like not living like check to check, and I already know that that in itself is going to be like really, really, really fucking difficult because I believe it's like if it's not more, I know it's like 90% of Americans live check to check. But as far as being more aggressive towards not living like that, I'm just realizing more like that having like specific skills or going and seeking further education is so important because I see it just within like within like my friend group in a sense with people I interact with, and two with like family. Like even though a lot of my family did it a little bit later, like after like high school, which I think is actually smart to like wait a little bit after high school to like really lock in on what you want to do and maybe even find a way to do it cheaper in a sense, but just seeking like a further education and everything like that. I'm just realizing that that's also a bit of a smarter choice too. um, but in a sense of making more money to be able to really like live a certain way, and how there really isn't going to be a whole lot of like help. Like the only way you can really help yourself is to have maybe a few close friends, and of course like family members that you trust, to be able to like actually talk finances with, because a lot of times, and maybe it's just within like within black people and like other people of color who don't really talk about how much money they're making, or kind of how they like put their money towards certain places, whether it's like savings, like an emergency fund and stuff like that. I'm just realizing that it's going to be like harder to do all those things if you do them alone. And even now, as I try to like not necessarily talk about other people's finances or my own, but just try to like gain more clarity on how other people are, going at life in a sense of the word. Because, I was thinking about it and I'm like, I don't want to be in the same position I'm in right now when I'm like 40. Because, like, realistically, I don't even want to be in the same position I'm in right now, like, next year, if that makes any sense. And with the whole, like, aggressive thing, like, having that, like, mindset of, like, every day being a way to go towards that goal, it's going to be difficult. And I'm realizing it because I see more and more people kind of get really complacent. Like just even like with people I may work with or people that I may interact with sometimes, and it's kind of just like, oh, like if you kind of stay complacent and don't try to like seek out anything more than what you're doing as far as your job is concerned, you're probably gonna stay in that stage of life in a way. And I don't know if other people who stay in that stage of life, if they at any point realize that whole idea of, oh, I really do need to like not lock in, but lock in, like really take the time to like make a set plan of, okay, I'm gonna start doing this, and I'm gonna have this going on at the same time, and then I'm gonna also be making sure I'm going to school, and then like having like have plan A, not plan A, but have the plan, and then step one, two, three. Oh my God! Like have a plan and then go by step one, step two, step three, step four, step five. Because I feel like the worst thing that can happen, I feel like the worst thing that can happen is only having the plan like mentally. And I realized that like a little bit ago before I started like really locking in with like paying off certain debt, like paying off a credit card that I had. Before it was only just in my mind like, oh, I have to pay this off or I have to pay this off. Or like, yeah, I do have to like make sure I get a better job. But like once I started even just putting it down like in my notes app, like once I just started doing that shit, I realized how much easier it was because it's no longer in my head to do. It's like it's out of me, and it's like these are things that I genuinely need to do if it means pushing my life forward. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like the way that I kind of am going about it now. Like I don't want to be kind of like left behind, if that makes sense, because you know the time is gonna go by anyway. You know, other people are also gonna naturally just move forward in life, and I don't want to be somebody that kind of just gets left behind. Whether that's like family kind of start to move forward in life, or if like the friends that you have, they also start to just move forward in life as well. And I don't want to be at that point where it's like I'm 28, 29 maybe, and the friends that I have, let's say they all kind of just move forward in life, or even not even just the friends that I have, like just the peers, the people who are like around my age now, that'll be around my age when I'm 28, 29, or whatever the case may be, and they all kind of took that leap forward in life, and then I'm still at that same point that I was at when I was 23, which is the age I am now. And I think just having that thought and really accepting the fact that I don't want that and that I genuinely want something different than that is a good thing. Mainly because this year, at least by the end of it, I do want to have like a set plan as to what I want to do as a career. Because I feel like I've accepted the fact that I don't believe there's any real career that I could do that I would, go to school for and all that I would like genuinely feel like would satisfy me to do. Like I feel like just working in general is cool, but I feel like the things that I would actually bring me joy is going to be things like my hobbies and everything like that. And like my job is just going to be something that pays me. Of course, I want to like make sure I like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be completely miserable while I'm at work. But I think I've accepted the fact that there isn't going to be a job that like is going to be the thing that wakes me up in the morning. I feel like the thing that'll wake me up in the morning will be like hobbies or just being able to really like live life and just be able to just enjoy it. And I feel like the best way to accomplish that is to just, do everything in my power to be able to constantly push myself forward, whether that's with discipline, making sure I'm going to the gym every day, whether that's just with the motivation of being able to make a bit more money to, you know, effectively really do this meal prepping thing I want to do, eating right, decorating like the apartment I have and everything, like just being able to do those things. It'll come with the sacrifice of, working a bit more. But at the end of the day, that's realistically probably going to be the only way I'll be able to accomplish that. You know, just something I was thinking about while I was literally at work, just working. And I was just thinking, like, I really need to be more aggressive. And even though I'm being aggressive now, it's just making me realize, like, a year or 2 or 3 years, like, ago from now, like 3 years ago or whatever, I really wasn't being aggressive the way I wish I would have been. So instead of, like, dreading or, like, being mad at myself from the past, the only thing I can do now is to make sure that I do those things now so that way when I'm like 26, 26, 27-ish, that I don't think, man, I wish I would have been more aggressive at 23. That type of thing. If that makes sense. I hope it does. I hope somebody kind of understands what I'm saying and like when I'm trying to I hope someone's able to pick up what I'm putting down. But be breezy.